Combat and escape from Hades is resolved using these resolution decks. When there's combat, you flip over one card for each side, and it's going to tell you what happens. Now, what box you use depends if you are the attacker or the defender, and depends if you are in space. So Spaceborne, which are the guys out in space, use that part of the card, or Hades based, as is on the surface, on the ground, which is what guys on the ground use. So you're going to flip over a card and you're going to compare the attacker and the defender totals. The attacker total is positive, defender is negative, with different modifiers for different types of units and situations. And you're going to net it out, and if the total is positive, the attacker is going to do that number of hits. If it's negative in space, nothing happens. If it's on the ground, ground-to-ground combat, then the defender will inflict that many hits. So let's go through some combats and see how this works. So we're going to have these fighters attack your spaceship. So first fighter is going to attack. I'll flip over a card, and the Spaceborne. The fighter is attacking with a +2, and the defense for the ship is shields -3, all other sections -2. Well, this is a shield section. That's 3 to 2, so that's fine. It doesn't take any hits. The second one's going to attack, and we have +3 for the fighter, and target section -2, so that's going to do one hit. That's going to flip this marker from holding to failing status. If it takes another hit, we're going to lose that shield module. So we have the third fighter attacking. They have a +2, and then we have target section -2, and then -1 in parentheses, and that is the number you use when something is depleted or has been flipped. So since this is depleted, it has a -1 to the +2, so it's going to do one hit, and I'm going to lose my last shield. Now we have some surface weapons, some defenses like this laser here, that also can fire on the ship. So it's going to fire, and it's going to be a Hades based attack because it's down on the ground, and the laser has a +2, and then the defense is still Spaceborne. It says no modifiers, so it's +2 to 0. It's going to do 2 hits, and that's going to be enough to knock out the 50 caliber quad gun, which is an anti-personnel weapon I could use to attack some ground units. I can't do that now, but let's say later in the turn the ship can still attack with its rail guns. So it's going to use its first railgun, R1, to attack a fighter. So we're going to flip this over. R1 Michael is the name of that railgun. It gets a +3. And the fighter has a -2. This will be enough to do one hit. Now let's say with the second railgun, we want to attack that pesky laser that knocked out our 50 caliber gun. Well, we're going to flip this over, and we have an attack with a railgun, which is a +4, and then the laser's defense is a surface installation. It's a -2. Well, the -2 to the 4, that's 2 hits. That's enough to destroy that, which will allow my guys to get into the prison, crawling through the maintenance shaft. Now, you also again have combat on the ground. So let's say it's the combat phase for the Nastians, who are the AI, who are the bad guys. So this soldier is going to attack my armored infantry, and the soldier has a +2 attack, and my armored infantry is a combat unit, so it has a -2 normally, but it has a -1 because it's depleted. That's this stripe. So +2 to 1, it's going to do a hit. It's going to kill my armored infantry. Now let's have this shock unit attack my heavy weapons team, and the shock unit has a +3, and my heavy weapons guy is not listed on the defense block. And if it's not listed, he has a modifier of 0. That's going to be 3 hits. That's way enough to kill my heavy weapons guy. Now if that hadn't happened, then my heavy weapons guy, in addition to attacking people on the ground, has a unique ability in that he can, if he's on the outside map, fire at these pesky fighters. So we're going to have him do that. He has a +4 attack, and he's fighting against someone in space, so the defense is -3. This will be enough to take this depleted unit out. And that, in a nutshell, is how combat works. It's really super quick. We just went through like 8 different combats in I don't know how long. It wasn't very long. So there are no combat factors on the units at all. It's all within these cards. And that's it.